of U.S. senators visited Kyiv for meetings. They were joined by American country music star Brad Paisley. This was him in Kyiv. He met Ukraine's President Zelensky as well. Now, before his visit, he released a song dedicated to Ukraine that included a message from President Zelensky. I spoke to Brad about his visit. So what was behind you going to Kyiv with 3 U.S. senators?
Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona is a friend of mine, has been for a long time. And when he heard the song, he said, "Have you been?" And I said, no, I'm invited, but obviously that's a difficult thing without the right transportation and the right security and the way that you go in and out, and you need the cooperation of multiple governments to make this right. And he said, "You want to go?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And so next thing you know, I got to hop on the train with them and be an unofficial tag along on this trip and see for myself what is going on there. And I'll tell you this, I'll never be the same.
Why do you say that? What was it about Kyiv that left an impression on you?
I think it's that they are defiantly living life in between the air raid sirens. It's not what I thought it'd be. I thought I would walk out to, when the train arrived in the morning and we were met at the station with the ambassador and some security that would take us through the city. And I broke away from the senators and went to see as much as I could while they had some high-level briefings, and really toured the city myself with the help of the organization United 24 that I'm working with. It wasn't all devastation. In fact, most of what had been hit in Kyiv has been rebuilt very quickly. They take pride in the fact that there was a missile strike on a busy street. It was an intersection in the city across from one of the major buildings, like an opera house type area. And within 4 days, they were showing me pictures. It was a 20-foot crater. Within 4 days, it was paved, fixed, and cars were driving there again. And they just kind of refused to stop being free. And in that sense, it was one of the more impactful things. I couldn't even process it fully that day. It wasn't until we got back to Poland, and really until I got back here in the United States and got home, that I started to sort of unpack everything. And I'm so inspired by them.
And you mentioned the song "Same Here." You actually sang this at St. Michael's Square in Kyiv. What was that experience like, and what were you hoping to achieve, hoping to bring to Kyiv and the people there?
Miss your mama and worry about your babies and love each other like crazy.
Well, one thing that really kind of summed it up was when our ambassador from the United States met me at the station. She said, "We don't get celebrities very much, and we especially don't get music artists." And there was such an enthusiasm. I went and sang at the embassy for some of our people, and I went around town with a lot of these tour guides and met people that are in the thick of this. So there's a gentleman who sings country music in Ukraine who came and sang me one of my songs that he had translated into their language and
Wow.
sang it back to me, and it worked. It actually sounded maybe better. And then there was a guitar builder in Kyiv that built me an electric guitar and gave it to me and said, "I knew you were, when I heard you were coming, I wanted to give you this, and we love your song and about this." And I think these kind of artistic missions, if that's what you'd call it, have as much to do with the progress of sort of informing people about this as anything that can be political.
You mentioned the political aspect of this. I mean, I want to ask you, you said you're good friends with Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, who you went on this trip with. I want to read you something he said. He said, quote, "We must do more, and when I return to the Senate, I'll continue working with my colleagues and our military leaders to get Ukraine the weapons and the support that they need to win." There have been shifts in opinion among lawmakers here in the U.S., also public opinion, about continuing that support for Ukraine. Do you have a view on that?
Oh, yeah, I definitely have a view on that. Having been there, some of the dissenting voices, they're trying to do certain things and say certain things in our country, but the bottom line is, I think as a government and as a people, we're largely united on this. And it's really key for for us to lead the world the way that we can in this situation, because they really are trying to uphold a way of life and a way of governing that we all believe in, so much so that all of our countries have done the necessary steps at some point in our history to become what we are. They just happen to be in that moment right now, and I'm right there with them when they say they want to do more. I would do more. Anything I can do to help. It's very inspiring when you see the fact that they're not willing to take no for an answer in that
Right.
country. They are
Right.
going to be free at all costs.
And Brett, I have to ask you about meeting President Zelensky. You mentioned he was on your song. What was his demeanor like meeting him in person?
Kind of exactly what you think. This is a guy who has the weight of the world on his shoulders. It's an interesting thing. I'm married to an actress. He's a former actor and comedian. And one thing I know about actors and especially comedians, and there are nerves of steel that come with that job that my wife has, that he has, that it's a friend of mine, good friend of mine has a saying, it's like, never underestimate the grit and nerves of a comedian. And this is a guy who it seems like nothing rattles him, but more than that, I feel like he is a completely straight shooter. I mean, in sitting there and talking to him for quite a while, he just doesn't mince words. He doesn't have time to mince words. He is too busy for that. And it's kind of refreshing in that sense. And it was, as you can imagine, it was very surreal for me after we had done a 45-minute Zoom the day we recorded the song and talked about a lot of things. And he talked about, I hope you'll come see me. And so when I walked in, one of the first things I said was, well, you invited me. But it's, I also said to him, I said, I hope you like the song. And he said, oh, I do.
Say, say.